Okay, everybody, welcome to the July 8th Cross Lake City Council meeting. Let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order is approval of the additions to the packet we have. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. B is a public hearing we're going to do first. Intention to issue general obligation capital improvement plan bonds and proposal to adopt a capital improvement plan. So who takes this over? Mike, you want to do that?
Yeah, I can take that. Jason, you ready? Coming up to start things off is Jason Murray from David Drown and Associates. They represent the city as their bond counsel, and they've been helping us with the financing for this project. So welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, Council and Mayor, for the opportunity tonight. Tonight is a public hearing on the CIP plan. What this public hearing does is provide for the opportunity for public comment on a capital improvement plan for 2019 through 2023. The CIP plan discloses really just one project, one borrowing project, and that's this proposed new city hall with law enforcement or public safety, and then the renovation of this existing facility into full use of the fire hall, fire department. Basically what this does, the CIP plan does, is it formally discloses to the public the intent to borrow, and in this case the intent to borrow is $3,815,000 for the combined projects. It also discloses requirements within statutory borrowing limits. You can see that on page 3 of the CIP, you've got plenty of capacity within those statutory requirements to move forward with this project. And then the final piece of it, starting on page 4, really has to meet the statutory requirements upon betterment or improvement. Basically, we have to disclose what those improvements are. The betterments, I think the law defines capital improvements also as betterments. So we end up fully disclosing what those projects are, what those improvements, planned improvements are, and moving forward. And then you can see just down on the bottom of page 5, you can see the intent to borrow $3,815,000 in CIP bonds, along with using city reserves or city funds of about 1.3 for the proposed project, bringing it just over 5 million, 5.1 million roughly. Additional documents there are in the back. There is a preliminary bond schedule outlining the borrowing. Again, this is general obligation, so this carries the general obligation of the pledge of the city. This is the most affordable borrowing for the city of this project and this type. My understanding, the city has contemplated this project for a while and wants to move forward with the new city hall, public safety building, along with the new fire hall. We hope that this goes forward so that the city can use its general obligation the most affordable way of borrowing. When I say if, there is a process of stopping this borrowing. It's called reverse referendum. If the city would receive a petition, we may have to look at, as we've discussed in the past, Plan B borrowing using the EDA as a lease revenue purchase bond. So I'd like to just disclose to the council and public that our priority hopefully is to receive permission basically from the public to go ahead and borrow this and use the most affordable means of borrowing to the city. So with that, Mayor and Council, I will pause my comments during the public hearing here. I answer any questions from the public that they may have. Following the public hearing, there's just a couple items I'd like to go forward, discuss as we move forward, potentially move forward with this project. So thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Council.
What's the approximate difference of interest rate between general obligation funds and EDA funds?
You're looking at about an increase of about 2 to 2.5% on the borrowing. So about 2, I would say about 2% increase.
So the general obligation funds are cheaper.
Cheaper over the long run. So I think in our last conversation, there was a difference about $350,000 over the life of the bond. So
Thank you.
Has this capital improvement plan been available to the public? Is it
Yes.
online, or
Yes.
that's how they've had it? Okay.
Thanks,
So-
Mayor, Council. I'll
Yep,
step
you
back
bet.
so
Thanks,
public
Jason.
comment.
Is now the time to open up for public? Yeah, so I'm going to open it up for any public comment. Nobody's going to come. All right, I guess we'll close the public comment. Oh, did you have one? Come on up, Pam.
Pam Graves, Cross Lake, Minnesota. I just have a clarification from Jason's number. In the agenda, it says 3.185, and twice he said 3.815. How much is being borrowed?
It should be $3,815,000.
So not 3,100,000 that's on the
Yeah,
agenda?
I saw that.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to say? Okay, we'll close the public forum. Then where do we go? Back to Jason?
Mayor, Council, there's two things tonight if you want to proceed. First and foremost, there is a resolution in your packet that basically approves the CIP plan document, starts the timeline for the reverse referendum and the process for the public, and then basically gives you a loose permission to borrow the $3,815,000. There is a second action that I've set at your please setting tonight that we'll talk a little bit more about specific bonding and starting the bonding process. But I'd like to tackle these in two different formats. Is the first resolution basically accepts the CIP under statutory authority, and that's the one that's in your packet. It should read resolution giving preliminary approval for issuance of city's general obligation capital improvement plan bonds in the amount not to exceed the $3,815,000 and adopting the City of Cross Lake Capital Improvement Plan.
So should we read that whole resolution? No? Okay. Well, I think we want to adopt this, right? We want to go ahead with it?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion by Andrews, second by Schrupp. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second item I have for you, Mayor and Council, was a place setting item. It kind of looks like this. You have kind of the shade area, just the gray shade. Mine was in color. Basically lays out the timeline, the proposed timeline. Following tonight's public hearing, you've adopted the CIP plan with your last action. Now the process must start if the council wishes, the formal borrowing process. So what that entails is a set sale resolution, and that resolution is attached to the packet, and I've laid some out for the press and that stuff too at the table. There is a resolution in there that starts the borrowing process. If you look at the schedule, basically what we're doing is timing around this 30-day required notice, or the required period for the reverse referendum. So what that means is the council's August meeting falls within that 30-day. So basically what we're going to have to do is set a special meeting for the council to consider the sale, the adoption of the sale of the 3.8 million roughly. So that's the first item, is that basically that week of August 12th through the 16th is when I would direct the council to hold that special meeting. That's the first item. The second one is if we're able to move forward tonight and the council wants to proceed, basically what happens now from here is we take this resolution, this one starting the bond sale, and basically disclose to the bond market out there that this bond is going to be pending for sale. So what happens then is we end up going through a ratings process to borrow at the most affordable pricing. So in the next 3 weeks, we'd probably have a rating. And then on the day of the special meeting, we would ask the bond market to sell it, give us their proposals for interest rates and terms and amounts and all that. And then that night, we come in and have a formal recommendation for you to initiate and adopt the sale resolution awarding XYZ bid to a financial institution or a firm out there. The risk to that is just that ratings cost. To start this process, basically there's a ratings that the bond market looks at and gives you a ratings. In the past, the city has rated very well, meaning you can borrow at a very reasonable rate. But there's a cost to that, and that cost is, if I recall, it was about, I want to say it was about $12,000, $13,000. So the risk is to move forward, set up the rating, go through that process, and then receive a petition by August 8th, I think it is the deadline. So if you receive a petition, that rating basically becomes null and void, because we don't necessarily need it in a Plan B, through a Plan B option of borrowing. So I want the council to be clear that if we start this bond process tonight, we are going to start going through the process so that we can award the sale of a bond at your special meeting in August. With that comes that ratings call and that ratings fee. So I just want to be clear and upfront with council that there's a risk. The risk is the fee. The reward is you stay on track. And based on our last conversation, at our last council meeting, there was a goal of trying to get this accomplished early September, late August. And so what this schedule does is accomplish this borrowing by the 1st of September. So
Jason, our next council meeting is August 12th, and that is the beginning of the 12th to the 16th. Is it necessary to do?
no, we can have it at your,
So we can
I
do it on the
apologize. I
12th.
looked at the calendar wrong. I thought it was the week, the prior week of the August 5th through the 8th. So I apologize for that, Mayor.
Okay.
So we won't need a special meeting. We can do it the night of the 12th. So I apologize.
So you're looking for us to go ahead and authorize you to,
Start the bond process so we can accomplish that September closing, have funds in the bank by that first part of September for you. And at risk is that ratings if you would receive a petition.
$12,000 rating deal. Does anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
John?
I'll second it.
Second. Any discussion?
Now, I caught a cost in there, 12, 13,000, so we would be risking that amount of money.
Yep.
I'm fine with that,
Okay.
but I just want to make sure what I'm voting on.
Okay, a motion by Andrews, second by Hecox. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries, all in favor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
That's it?
Yep, we'll be back in August.
Fabulous, thank you, Jason. That was pretty painless. Okay, the consent calendar. All items listed here are considered to be routine by the city council and will be acted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a citizen or council member so requests. You look through the consent calendar.
I'll move to approve. I don't have anything to take off.
Pardon?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Hecox, second. No more discussion, we're good? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Andy's, your turn. Letter of intent from High Tech Construction for City Hall Police Department project.
I'm Andy Pickar with High Tech Construction. Sorry, I'm Andy Pickar with High Tech Construction. So we've been working with Mayor Nevin and the building committee to get to this point, and appreciate the opportunity for that. Tonight we have presented a letter of intent to, if council decides to proceed with the construction process on the city hall, the new city hall construction, that the intent would be to work with High Tech Construction on the construction process and kind of get the whole construction process going so that we can avoid winter conditions and kind of expedite the whole construction process, I guess is the general summary of what we're looking at there.
Now, this would complete the $300,000 project or would move beyond?
As far as I understand, I believe this is just for the city, the new city hall.
But is it the design phase or is it the whole project?
This would be the construction project. Yep,
The whole project?
yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm just kind of wanting to open this up if the public has got any questions or concerns or anything. Is that out of line? I mean, does everybody understand what we're doing and any questions about it? Everybody's good, huh? Okay, fabulous. Will, do we have a motion to accept this letter?
So move.
I'll second it.
All right. Any other comments?
Can we have just, I don't know if the letter, basically the letter was sent to Mayor Nevin, and you mentioned in here that the agreement between yourself and High Tech, shouldn't that scratched and be the city? Just for,
Valid, yes.
you know, unless you want to sign up.
No, no,
Oh,
that's
all
fine
right,
with me.
all right.
That's a good call, Mr. Schrupp.
Right there. So we'll delete yourself.
Which line was that on?
Oh, second line.
Line two.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll just change yourself to
pickup.
the city before it gets signed,
pickup.
so. And you did see the references
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
so-
why I'm just asking if anybody's got any questions or concerns about it or anything. I'm good with it. So we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we don't have any questions for Gordian or Sourcewell or whatever? We're done with that?
Well, John and I met with them, and we're very interested in what they have to offer.
Yeah, okay. God, I wish I could put you guys on the spot a little bit. All right, we're good. Thanks, guys. Okay, E is public forum. No action will be taken on any of the issues raised. If appropriate, the issues will be placed on the agenda of a future council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. Each speaker is given a 3-minute time limit. Do we have anybody for public forum? Sure, come on up.
My name is Dave Shepherd. I live on East Shore Road. And this weekend, a bunch of us became aware that driving the golf carts is banned on the city streets.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? We do have you under H4 to bring this up. If you want to talk about it now, we can, but otherwise they give up their spot later to do it.
Well, there's no
I didn't know we were on the agenda.
communication back and forth if they want to do it.
If you want to do it at a public forum, you can state your case and you got to sit down. If you want to wait till you come up under the agenda, then we can discuss it.
Doesn't
We
matter
can
to me. I was
discuss it
unaware we
deeper.
were,
Yeah, so it's up to you. You can tell us your spiel if you
oh,
want
we're up here now.
Okay, but just so you understand, we can't comment back. There can be no discussion about
Oh,
it.
so if we use our agenda spot, it can be action.
Then we
we'll
can
wait.
discuss it.
Sorry.
Okay. Anybody else for the public forum? Okay, we'll close the public forum. All right, there's a packet in our, this is the mayor and council members report. There's a packet in here about green step cities. I don't want to get into it too much. You guys have it? For your information. Next, we got a resolution accepting donations. Now, Shar, I got to ask you this. Do I have to read all of these, or can I just mention who's making the donation? We got a donation from the American Legion Post for $500 for Red Ball Diamond Aggregate. What's that for?
Baseball.
That's for
Baseball.
baseball fields.
Okay. And Robert Johnson, $100, $50 each to police and fire department. So we need a motion to accept that donation.
So moved. Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Motion, or all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, we got some appointments to the VRBO. Since we did that at the last meeting, we had 3 other people come forward that want to be on the committee. So I make a motion that we appoint Paul Schmelz, Kirk Schnittger, and Douglas Moen to join the VRBO committee.
I'll second that.
Need a motion first.
I'll
Made
move.
it,
Did I?
yeah.
Oh, okay. We got a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 4, we have John Pribble is resigning from the Public Works. I guess first of all, I want to thank John. I don't think he's here tonight, but for his service there. And I guess we have to have a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Motion by Andrews.
I'll second it with a thank you to John for
Yeah.
the
Yes,
many,
yeah.
Yep.
many hours he's put in for it.
So we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So in saying that, we've got a commission appointment to replace John. And I want to make a recommendation that we appoint Tom Swenson to replace John on the Public Works Commission. I think Tom has got invaluable experience in that department and pretty outspoken, and I think he'll be an asset to it. So I will make that recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Welcome, Tom. Is he here? No? So now we got the septic, okay, I'll read this here. Direct Planning and Zoning Commission, city staff, and city attorney to review the comment on proposed septic ordinance from Sanitary Sewer and Septic Advisory Committee. So what we just gotta ask them to carry the thing forward. Set it up, see what we have to do to implement what we said we were gonna do last month.
You might want to touch bases on, highlight what it is that we're proposing to do here for the public. Just inspect or pump your septic systems every
ahead,
3
Dave.
years.
Go ahead.
That's what we're proposing. So, and that'll be everybody in the city that's on a septic system.
So we're following state guidelines by
State
doing that.
guidelines.
It's required, but the city of Cross Lake has not required anything for our private septic systems now, and so we're gonna get into a program where we have to do that.
So do we have to have a motion? No? Yes? I make a motion that we direct.
Okay. Do you understand? I mean, was that clear enough to?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Crystal.
Motion by Shrub, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Heacock, second. Conversation, comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I think the committee did a great job. Comment, so that was,
Yeah.
Okay, number 7 is discuss maintenance of the welcome signs. Oh, yeah, okay. Forgot that.
Good evening, Pat Netco, Cross Lake resident, business owner, and a Cross Laker. The maintenance signs, the locations of the welcome signs, one is located on DNR property and one is located on Corps of Engineers property. And in speaking with Corrine Hodap, she needs the same kind of agreement that the city has for the parking area at Andy's that the Corps of Engineers owns. We've had this discussion with a couple of you who were at our Cross
Yep.
Laker meeting.
so we passed it on to the city. Right?
Discussion.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Basically, I stopped in and talked with Corrine yesterday, and they would create a document that would need to be signed by the city, and she is working on that at this time.
What is the maintenance of the signs?
There
Paint.
basically is none, unless,
Yeah.
like, I guess if a car were to run off the road and break it down, we'd have to fix it. I mean, where the one is on 16 at the Corps of Engineers property, it's up on a hill, and it's very unlikely that anything like that would ever happen, but they need to have some kind of an
Can
agreement.
we put a really big rock in front of the other one, wherever that is?
That's not in the plan, Dave.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to accept the maintenance for the welcome signs?
It's the insurance and the maintenance, basically. It's a form that they're creating.
Yeah.
So move.
I need a second before I ask a question.
I'll second it.
Okay, Schrupp seconds,
I'll
go ahead.
second it.
Okay, so this is only for the one sign that's sitting on the core?
No, it's 3 signs, for all 3 signs.
It is for all three?
Yes.
Okay. Why is Corrine writing up for,
Because the Corps of Engineers owns the one piece of property, and then we'll need the same thing with the DNR, and they'll probably, I don't know if they will have their own form or not. They haven't actually done a site visit yet.
but I would think that it'd require 2 different forms, because you're talking federal government,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is on private property, if I'm correct.
From what I understand, as long as the city has agreed to this, then whatever document they need, we can figure that out.
Where's the third one?
On County Road 3, where it says "Welcome to 50 Lakes," we're going to be in the back side of the 50 Lakes sign that says "Welcome to Cross Lake."
Was that county
It's on the
then?
north side. It is encroached into the right-of-way.
So that would be in a county agreement though, so there's 3
Yes.
different things. Okay, so does that answer, or she'll come forward with whatever we need to sign,
Yeah.
is what this is saying.
Yeah, then I'll go, I agree with that.
We got a motion and a second.
'Cause I don't-
Any other comment? Huh? No, you got something
No,
else?
no. I'm done.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Pat, you're going to stay up there. Public hearing on the workforce housing. You want to explain that?
Yeah, I'd like to change the word hearing to forum,
Forum.
not hearing.
Okay.
At our Cross Lakers meeting last Monday, we had a discussion on workforce housing, as we do every month, and what's the update on that. So what we would like to see is to have a forum with all the stakeholders involved in workforce housing, and to come up with a definition of what is workforce housing here in specifically Cross Lake. What is that, and what are the needs? And so if all of the stakeholders were in one forum, and that would be Bladec, the realtors, the city, business owners, employers, and employees, and have questions asked and answered as to what exactly our needs and wants are here. Is it a spec home development, an apartment complex? Where does it go? How do we do that? What is the cost? What do people want for this? And I think knowledge is valuable, and we need to take the emotions out of this, because there's been a lot of emotions around this issue lately. And I think with the Babinski project being rejected by planning and zoning at the location where they wanted to do it, what are our options, and what do the people want to see? And I think if we had a forum, and we would like the city to partner with the Cross Lakers to have this forum, I think we could answer a lot of questions. It doesn't mean we're going to come up with a solution right there. It doesn't mean that we won't need another forum. We would come up with some answers for people and find out what exactly the needs are here in Cross Lake specifically.
Okay, first of all, is the public going to be
Oh,
open to come to
absolutely.
that too?
Absolutely.
And a lot of the business owners are going to have input into that, right?
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully,
Yes. And it might require some research on their part to figure out what are our needs. They can say our people have nowhere to live. Well, what does that mean? How much can they afford per month? What are you paying them? How much can they afford? What do they want? Where do they want to live? Is it families? Is it single people? Who is it? What is the demographic? And what is specific to Cross Lake with what the needs are? And I think we can do that. I think we can have the specific stakeholders there, and if they are interested in workforce housing and want it in some form of whatever that is, then let's get some answers. Let's have the builders there. Let's have all the stakeholders there and answer some questions under one forum.
So have you thought of where are we going to do this and when? Are we
At the
gonna-
school or at the community center?
Are the
Two
Cross
options.
Lakers going to kind of take the lead in this?
That's debatable. We'd like to partner with you and discuss that.
Okay. Okay.
How's that going to tie in with the group that John is working with?
Crow Wing County is looking at housing issues for all of Crow Wing County. They're looking at 18 cities and a number of townships. They probably won't have answers out till January or so of 2020, but they are trying to come up with a report. They've got a private contractor working on pulling a lot of these types of data, but it's going to be a little bit longer time frame.
So one of my concerns, Pat, is we agree to this, we move forward. How do we put it together tomorrow? Or do we
Well,
need
it's
to discuss it?
not going to happen tomorrow. We can
No,
talk
but
about
we
it
need to.
tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, what we would need to do is just say, yes, we're interested. That's, I guess, basically what we're looking for. Yes, we'd like to partner with the Cross Lakers to have a forum on workforce housing, a public forum on workforce housing here in Cross Lake with the details to follow.
Okay, well, I would say that. I'd make that a motion if that's what you're looking for.
Before we go there, I guess one of the concerns, another concern I have, if we could, understand like the Planning Commission, when they get involved, they have specific guidelines that they have to work with, and they may not all come out during that forum, okay? And so when it gets there, it could be a different issue or a different problem or a different concern. So the city can't say, yeah, we agree with this, and that's what's going to take place, because it's still going to have to jump through all the hoops and all the,
Right. I don't think we're looking for a specific project to come out of this forum. I think we're looking for an answer as to what is the definition of workforce housing here in Cross Lake? And what are the needs? And how can we go forward with making that happen?
So it's just discussion, see what
as long
comes
as it's
out
just
of it.
discussion, I don't have
Yeah.
a problem, but
That's
I
all
don't
you're
want,
looking
I don't
for.
want anybody to get painted into a corner, and all of a sudden, well, the council said. And that's not what can happen or should happen, let's put it that way.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and remake my motion that I agree with discussion on that is a good idea.
Okay?
And at this point, that's what we're going to move forward with. So I'll make that motion. Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Second by Andrews. Any other discussion on it? Okay, are we all good? Everybody in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So, at the
So
Cross Lake.
between now and our next Cross Laker meeting, we can come up with some details and some ideas of what we want to do. And then some of you have been attending our Cross Laker meetings, so maybe we can move forward a little bit there.
If the whole council comes, we have to post it, you know. I don't know how much. Shara will have to be, we'll have to keep her in loop
Sure,
of what we're doing, so she can post it if we have to.
sure. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Pat. Okay, the last one, I would like to, and this doesn't have to be any kind of threatening thing at all, but I'd like to do a performance review on the administrator. And I think it's just a good opportunity for us to get together and get some stuff out and move forward. So I'd like to set a date for that, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
So Dave, what I would suggest is for the performance evaluation or review would be the week of the 29th of this month. Or you could do it down below under my report. We'll be looking at some suggested dates for budget meetings. And the first one we're suggesting would be August 8th. So if the week of the 29th works for everybody, we can work with the clerk to get something set up.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
But when is the planning commission, isn't that the 28th and 9th?
25th
29th.
and 26th.
Okay,
So the 29th is a Monday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any chance we could go earlier, or no?
That's up to you. We could do it the week of the 22nd too.
Call.
I can do it anytime.
You want to do it during the day?
Sure.
I have a question about the procedure. You know, my career, when I reviewed people or I was reviewed, someone wrote down a bunch of things about my performance, or I did the same for my...
Well, I'm assuming there's
So
some,
I'm assuming we're going to have some form that we fill out, and then we read our form to Mike? Is this how this is going to work, or
Sure,
are we just...
I guess what I would suggest is I've got some information from what the league suggests and what other cities do, and I can distribute that to you.
I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. Something we, give him our comments and kind of go
Yeah.
from there, so,
We have to know what the job description is before we do
Yeah.
a review.
right.
Right.
Well, that can be part of it,
So we should have that before we, what do you,
with the review.
So can
form.
you put something together for us to take a look at?
Yep.
Okay.
okay?
I
So-
guess I assumed there was something from the past. That was an assumption on my part.
Well, we've always done reviews, you just haven't reviewed the administrator position in the city.
Really?
It's never been done.
Wow.
We're cutting new turf.
Well, it's something that's, would be, I see as being helpful,
Yes.
okay? Not,
Right, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So you had mentioned the week of the 22nd. I don't care when we do it.
fine
Does
with me.
anybody, I think it's probably maybe an hour, maybe?
So
So,
it'll get into an hour, trust me.
yeah,
But we need the job description and the document that we're
Right.
supposed to fill out ahead of that time, so.
We can get that out to
You
you.
can, yeah, all right,
Okay.
email's fine.
And then set a date, that whatever in there is fine with me.
What days don't work for people?
Saturday. so-
July 15th.
July 25th to August, oh, wait a minute, the 31st.
25th to the 31st doesn't?
And I would prefer you stayed away from the 19th or my wife will kill me. It's our anniversary.
So can you go 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and can we do it at like 9 o'clock?
Not on a Monday, right?
Not on a
Wednesday, the
Monday.
24th of July.
24th?
Wednesday, the 24th,
Is that okay?
9 a.m.
Sure.
Okay, is that good? Do we need a motion for that, or?
No,
No.
we just set the date, so. Okay,
Okay, that's it for the mayor's.
all right, thank you.
Mike, it's yours, city administrator.
All right, thank you. Under item 1 on my report is there's a cost share, a construction cost share and maintenance agreement between Crow Wing County and the city of Cross Lake for the water quality improvement project at Loon Lake adjacent to County State 8 Highway 66 and Manhattan Point Boulevard. We already have the memo of understanding signed between us and the Soil and Water Conservation District. What this does is it memorializes our relationship with the county. So basically what will happen is the money will flow to the Soil and Water Conservation District. We will submit invoices to the Soil and Water Conservation, then we'll split up the funds, whether it's our share or the county's share for reimbursement. So they need this in place so we can bill each other for the cost of that project.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve this maintenance agreement.
I second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries, yep.
Item 2, now this is a memorandum of understanding between Crow Wing County, Crow Wing Soil and Water Conservation and the Big Pine Lake Association and the City of Cross Lake for the Rock Dam Project, Big Pine Trail. And what this does is it puts in writing what we're agreeing to do. And for those of you that aren't familiar with this, the Rock Dam, Soil and Water Conservation received some money to basically replace the dam. The dam is owned by Crow Wing County. They're allowing us to fix it, Soil and Water Conservation. The city's concern on this, and we talked about this at our capital planning meeting earlier this month, where we were, the road it's suspect whether or not that road will hold up or not. And so we have a marker in our capital improvement plan for roads, about $585,000 to move up the reconstruction of that road after the dam is built.
When is that scheduled for, a regular schedule for that road to be done?
Sometime after next year, 1 or 2 years later.
It's close.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's got some issues now. Ted could give you more information on that. But they want to make sure that we're going to stick to it and fix the road after the project's done.
So I guess just a comment to the public, we've asked them to do this job after freeze up, which would minimize the damage to the road. They gotta haul out how many truckloads of rock, so that's gonna do what it does, and then we're gonna pick up the pieces afterwards.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's what
basically,
it's about if you don't know.
we're basically trying to move up what would be considered a normal road reconstruction project, to move it up to coincide with the repairs on the dam.
And I guess just, and I don't know everything there is to know about it, but a comment about the rock dam is it needs to stabilize Big Pine Lake. That's the reason for doing it. The water fluctuation is up and down and all over the board, and this should help stabilize it.
Yeah, what their plan is, they'll make a series of steps and then a canoe access at the same, if any of you have been back there, you'll know what I mean. Just to stabilize both sides of the bank to make sure it doesn't wash out and to control the flooding.
Yep.
So where does the assessment thing fit in here?
Close,
Close.
very close.
Good, because there's going to have to be some assessments made down there
Correct.
for the road improvement.
Yep. There is a large portion of the road that goes through state land, and it also dips down into Mission Township. So that's going to be our dime.
Are we gonna get any cooperation or help from them to do it, or
From the
no?
DNR? No. Nor the state?
Or Mission?
No.
Yeah.
And that was, in talking with Ted, that was the case the last time when we built the road the first time. Yes, that was the case then too.
Does Mission have any tax base down on that road?
No,
So they got no interest in it really, other than
none at
just
all. It doesn't serve
geographically
anything in
there.
Mission. It's through their portion is through a low, soft area that can be challenging for road building in the first place, and they go, and there's state land on both sides of it for that portion of it. Is that correct, Dave? Yeah, he's nodding yes.
So we need a motion to approve this.
This agreement, yes.
I so move.
Andrew's motion?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Item 3, we've got some recommended dates to schedule budget meetings. I'm suggesting 3 meetings. One is August 8th, the 22nd, and September 5th. Our goal here would be to get a preliminary budget ready to go and certified for the any preliminary levy we need to do by the end of September. So I think we can do it in 3 meetings. I think staff is ready to do that. They've already completed the hard part of it, and that is identifying their capital needs out into the future. So we've got that part of it already done. We can refine things. And what I'm proposing is if we meet during the day in a workshop meeting, either late afternoon or first thing in the morning, whichever works best for you folks.
Late afternoon.
Okay,
Fine with me.
4?
4.
Is that all right?
4 o'clock.
4? I'm okay.
When is that, August 8th?
Do you want to do all 3 of those dates at 4?
Yeah.
August 8th, 22nd, and September 5th.
5. Thursdays.
Yep, that's Thursday.
22nd.
Okay, I expect lots of questions.
Okay.
All right. Item 4 is a memo dated June 28th from the clerk regarding a group transient merchant application. What we have is a request from the Ideal Lions to have a flea market on July 20th, August 17th, and September 28th.
I make a motion, we approve.
I second.
Any comment, any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. The next item deals with license renewals for charitable gambling. A little background. A few years ago, there was some concern with the charitable gambling organizations in the city. The council at that time wanted to get a feel for where they're spending their money or who they're making donations to. So as you can see, there's 5 groups here, and some of the concern was, how do we make some kind of assurance that there's a benefit received by the area from those individual organizations. So that's why that part of the packet is so thick. There's a bunch of financial information in there. We have all the information except for the last one on there, item E, which was not submitted. Now, I think we should still go ahead and approve the charitable gambling licenses as stated for all the organizations. But the question staff has, is there any value in requesting basically their tax return each year? Do you feel there's still any value in receiving that information? If there isn't, we'll ask them to stop providing it
What do we do with it?
and just provide us, we don't do
Summary.
anything with it.
I would think we could save a few trees and that we probably don't need that level of detail. If we have big questions on the organizations, we ought to ask them about them, but I think we could do without the tax return part.
And just get a summary of the year? Is that what you're proposing? I'm okay with that.
And you question where the money is going, and so we're sure that it's,
I don't have any authority to question where it's going. It's for information only.
Right.
And again, the
State
reason
does
we
that.
got it the first time was there was some concern that these organizations were competing for the same dollars, and so the discussion came down to, well, how do we decide which ones to renew and which ones not to? And then we had that whole discussion about, is it really our business to tell them where they can spend their money?
State of Minnesota regulates them tremendously.
They're very highly regulated.
Yeah.
So this is for electronic pull tabs only?
Yes. For all pull tabs. It's for all pull tabs. You know, you go into the local establishments and there's somebody selling pull tabs by the counter. That's what these are.
I don't really know how I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but I'd kind of like to know that the money is kind of being turned back to the community.
One of the benefits, if we actually used it, would be we would find out if any of that money is staying in Cross Lake, or is it all leaving?
And not
Going
even
the other area.
specifically Cross Lake, but the area.
Well,
I mean,
Did you read through the summary?
yeah, I did.
so, and we're going to get this each year to do that. I mean, we just won't get the tax returns, but we're still going to get the
I
application.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a tax return you're saying, forget
That
about
has
it.
always been a requirement, that we get their summaries,
Yeah.
and we weren't getting them for a long time at the renewal time, and that's what brought about that whole conversation.
Okay, so I mean, I kind of heard you say that we weren't going to ask for those anymore, but that must have been the tax.
Tax return, only we want the summary.
So can we make one motion to approve all these, or do you want them individual?
So moved.
Okay, Andrews makes a motion. We have a second.
I'll second that.
Schrupp seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, all in favor.
Okay, item 6 is a memo from the Personnel Committee, and the Personnel Committee unanimously recommended to remove the Manager of Parks, Recreation, and Library, Jane Monson, from probationary status.
Also move that.
I second.
Okay, we got a motion, a second. The only comment I'd make is Jane has been fabulous for many years, so hope she sticks around for a while.
Yep, she's doing a great job down at the parks and rec, so we really appreciate her service.
Okay, we got a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, all in favor.
All right, now the next one is kind of fun. Everyone's aware of what's been going on in the news with the hands-free phone policy. So August 1st, correct, Shar? New law goes into effect. That you have to be
Question is,
hands-free.
is law enforcement exempt from this?
Yes.
I just-
So what we're suggesting is there's some summary language on the attached page that we'd like to add to our personnel policy,
Yeah.
so that we clearly communicate to staff on what the rules are and what the expectation is, so we're in compliance with the rules.
In answer to your question, law enforcement is exempt from it, but what we're saying in this policy is that we're not going to exempt law enforcement in the city.
You
of
want them to
Crosslake.
comply unless there's an emergency, true emergency.
Truly
Truly an emergency.
Yep.
Okay.
We all have
agree with
hands-free
that.
on our squads, so. there
Oh, then
really
it's pretty,
shouldn't be
pretty
a whole-
basic, okay.
Yep.
Then I agree. I'll move to approve that.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, all in favor.
All right, item 8 is a letter from Tim Hool, County Administrator. I think you're all aware of this. I sent this to you previously, and it's dated July 1st, 2019. It's their intent informing us of their wish to terminate the memorandum of understanding between the City of Cross Lake and Crow Wing County for the provision of planning and zoning services within the city. And the reason I bring this to your attention is because that date is going to come up really quick. October 31st will be their last date of service. So what I would like from the council is permission to engage the planning and zoning staff that we have now and the county to figure out a transition plan. You know, there's going to be some equipment we need to budget for, some licensing fees, and possibly even some staffing issues we're going to need to get on
Is the,
going on and
is
figure
the
out
personnel
how
committee
we're going.
going to be involved in this?
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about this at personnel on the 2nd.
But I mean, personnel committee will work with establishing his salary range and with, make sure that the job specs are laid out.
Yep.
And then, I suppose, look at whoever does the advertising, that's you guys.
What we'd like to do is understand those detailed job descriptions because they've changed a little bit from what they used to be a few years ago before we
Yep.
worked with the county. You know, because we redid the whole ordinance, we changed the whole system, how we did things. We want to make sure that we're having some consistency once they do leave, you know, whoever fills that position. But we'd like to start those discussions and find out what it's going to take to
So
make
I'd
that
make that motion,
transition.
that you guys go ahead and move forward with a transition plan.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Any further?
One thing I would add is I'll be contacting some of you or all of you to try to get your thoughts on what your thoughts are and how you'd like to see that happen and which direction we go once we understand all the details of what it's going to take to get that done.
Okay, great,
No problem.
thank you.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor.
The last item on here, number 9, is last week I received a phone call from a Jan Mazanga. And his question was, would Cross Lake like to annex a portion of my property? And if you can picture that west side of Fawn Lake, where Ideal Township comes into play, there's just most of his property is in the city of Cross Lake. There's just a tiny, tiny little sliver on the west side of his property that abuts up against to either tax forfeit or state land that's in Ideal Township. So he's requested that we work with him to pursue annexing that tiny portion that's in Ideal Township into the city of Cross Lake. I did talk to Brad Person about that. He explained to me it's relatively simple to do, but we still need authorization from the council to approach Ideal Township and ask them if they would be agreeable to working out an arrangement to do that.
There's no downfall to doing it, right?
No.
No.
And you're talking
Would
minimum
you
cost
have
of
to
the
do a
city.
survey?
Most likely.
But that would be at the owner's expense, right? I mean,
Propose that the owner would bear the cost of doing that work.
yeah.
But this would at least give me the permission to talk to Ideal Township and say, okay, with Brad and what it's going to take to get that done. I mean, we don't have to do anything. We could just say no, too. And Ideal Township might say, yeah, fine, go ahead. Or they might say, nope, we want it. We don't know that yet.
All right.
Okay?
So we need a motion to,
Just direct staff to
So moved.
follow up on that.
what's your motion? To direct staff to,
Have to enter in discussions.
okay, we got a motion? Second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, that's all I have unless council has questions for me.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, next are the commissions, planning and zoning. Who's here to do that? Jake, you're here, good. Let's see. That first one is Jeff Werdeman.
Not here.
He's not here, so,
Okay.
okay.
I don't know if the council, well, Mr. Chair and council, if you wanted me to address this issue in the absence of the complainant, since this is not an agenda item that I wish to have on the agenda. This was brought forth from the complainant. I'll take any.
I reviewed the videotape of the meeting. In fact, I did it last night. And it was clearly stated they could only have one driveway, and we didn't care what street it came out on. And that was part of the motion. So his concern, as I understood it, as long as there's just the one driveway, we don't care. It's Ted's call where they come out.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back into it, in 2017, there was a meets and bounds subdivision recommended for...
Excuse me, Jake.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
My comment about the thing is if the guy didn't come for it, let it go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, let me ask a question. Is this Jeff Wordman? Is it his property?
No. It's the street he lives on. He's the neighbor.
Oh,
He's just got a little bug.
He opposed the subdivision
okay.
when it was done.
But if he's not willing to come in and say something, we're not going to
There's
spend
like-
any time
They're
on it.
like 10-acre lots. So, I mean, it's,
So next is the subdivision, huh?
Yes, so next item is looking for a motion to approve. There was a recommendation by the Board of Adjustments Planning Commission at the most recent meeting for Daniel P. and Deborah L. Miller to subdivide 2 parcels involving 3.38 acres into 3 tracts, zoned limited commercial. I won't go into too much detail, but at the end of the day, the Planning Commission, Board of Adjustments did recommend by motion approval of this. I'll take any questions anyone has.
it was a real straightforward one. And I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any
And that
discussion?
includes the park dedication.
Yes, park dedication fee was supposed to be paid before tonight.
It was.
Was.
Okay, thank you.
It's just that you accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and the second item is looking for another motion to approve another meets and bounds subdivision. This one is from the, I'm going to get the last name wrong again, Foskey. I got it that time? Family Trust, and Ross Redmond and Cynthia Redmond to request subdivision of an approximately 11.98 acre tract into 3 tracts. The lake this is located on is, I think it's Daggett Lake, if I remember correctly. And again, without going into too much detail, this was recommended for approval by the Board of Adjustments Planning Commission at their last meeting unanimously. And with that, I'll take any questions.
They're just subdividing the property into 3 lots.
Yep.
And there's nothing delineated what they're going to do from there. And they all meet all regulations and specs.
So I'd make it a motion to approve based that the park dedication is accepted.
A second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it for my section.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Park Rec, is TJ here?
TJ is not here, so I'll take his area for him.
Okay.
The first item is under his report is gym policies. The Park Commissioner recommends to accept changes to community center policies and the rules for open gym to better define open gym time use. And the next 2 pages are the usage policies are basically, if a team wants to come in and use the gym for practice, supposed to practice in the gym, they need to schedule that. So there aren't any conflicts. As far as the rules for the open gym, there's 2 definitions on the next page of that handout that better defines what the open gym definition is and what a practice definition is. So TJ is asking for approval to amend those gym policies.
I so move.
Okay, we
I'll
got a
second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All in favor.
Okay, the next one is, talks a little bit about the dog park, and I know Mick is here if we have any questions. So TJ received direction from the Park Commission to prepare a statement for the City Council to address the Commission's position regarding dog park funding and responsibilities. I don't know that I need to read it. It's all in there for you, but it's basically defining roles and responsibilities for the city and the volunteers.
Is that part of our packet?
Yes,
It's all on H2A.
yeah. Ted, if you have that, could you throw it up on the overhead?
Oh, okay, that's right here. Sorry.
Here.
It's item 2 under that,
Oh,
so I'll give you a
yeah, you
chance
got
just to
it.
take a look at that.
Is that a problem, establishing that Sandpoint well? Okay.
Pretty easy to do.
And it doesn't look like there's much in the way of mowing that would be added.
So the Sandpoint won't work up at the homestead there? Too far away?
Well, it'd be much cheaper to go to the Sandpoint than trying to run pipe all the way back to Homestead, so.
It would?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anybody else got any comments on this?
He's not asking for a motion or anything, he's just giving you an update on what their plan is for the very short future.
Okay, sounds good.
So with that, the last item is a staffing update. So we have a mower person hired, that's working out quite well. We had hoped to hire 2 building attendants and 2 seasonal ground maintenance employees. We received 3 applications. I think we received 2 or 4 applications for the other position. So we filled 1 position in each area. We were also TJ was also able to hire back a former employee on a temporary basis to assist with shifts when there's a couple people that are going to be on extended leave. So staffing is still tight, and we're still looking for another mower type person to round out the summer and so forth. So
His last comment is daily operations are running smoothly, so it's okay?
yep.
Yeah,
He's more than a little busy. So
that's good.
Just
That's the way
enough
we
to-
want him.
that's all I have for TJ.
Okay, Ted, you're
Good
up.
evening. I know there was a little confusion what I'm asking for here. We did, the last meeting, we asked you guys to authorize us to do crack sealing, and that's filling the little cracks. Seal coating that we're talking about is actually putting a layer of oil down and rock over the top of it to seal it up. And it just so happens the county is doing a project in the area, and we took advantage of that and got, we think, real good pricing. Dave's estimate was $95,000. This came in at $92,403.78. So with that, we would like permission to authorize Asphalt Surface Technologies for seal coating of the 5 roads that were listed.
And you worked with this company before?
The county has, I have not for a number of years, but the county has quite a bit, I think. Dave's familiar with them also.
Okay.
And this is a budgeted expense?
Yes.
95, yeah. Okay, so do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next one, when the county engineer was here, you guys talked to him a little bit about some of the key intersections, and one of them was 103, 36, and 3 intersection. They've came back with a proposal to add flashing stop signs at that intersection at this time. We'd have to participate in half the cost of it for about $1,950. And then we'd be responsible for maintenance. And as far as maintenance, it would be, replacing batteries about every 4 or 5 years, and, the ongoing stuff that's gonna be after. They're solar powered, these things. A light bulb goes out or whatever. They're LEDs, but so it's not likely they're gonna go out very often. But the Public Works Commission said they were all in favor of moving forward with this, so.
The county is responsible for half the maintenance too, or are we taking it all?
I think we're taking the maintenance on, we're responsible for half the cost of the initial, so.
And then 100% of the maintenance.
That was my understanding. And there is a little maintenance agreement that will have to be signed in.
So if somebody drives over the sign and destroys it, we have to replace it.
Well, and that's why hopefully we can have it underneath our insurance, so it's, we can cover it as much as we can. That's one thing I was gonna ask Mike. And the driver, if they catch him, is responsible for it too, so.
Okay, well, I totally support it, so.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I will say citizens have stopped me and asked to have that put in.
Yep.
Apparently, one of the issues for stopping at a stop sign is how long it's been since you've seen your last stop sign. And if you come around 103, it's been a long time since you've seen your last one. You tend to roll right through it, so.
My staff and I were sitting in front of the funeral home 3 weeks ago. We watched a lady on her cell phone coming down 103. She drove right through. There was 4 cars that had to lock up their brakes. We almost saw a pretty bad accident there, so.
I think this is a great improvement.
So, you notice the county has actually put flags on the stop signs on the posts and trying to get everybody's attention as much as they can, so this is our next step, I guess.
Thank you.
So we got a motion and a second, right?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next one, we have an erosion issue on one of our outlots. My staff and myself are going to take an attempt at to mitigate the erosion problem, add some basically ditch blocks and some erosion tubes and some other log stops, some other things. So we're going to try to work on that so we get this erosion problem taken care of between the 2 neighbors on our property. So that's what's going on there. Perkins Road, Dave, you want to give an update on that, where you're at?
Perkins Road is still in process of pre-design. We're looking at a layout on the west end across the Coors property. That's to bring it down more gently and handle the drainage better at that very end of the project. So we're working with, we had a meeting with Corinne from the Corps, and what they're looking for is a little better description on the impact to the Corps property, and then the Corps would consider granting a lease to the city that could be up to 25 years for a public road crossing their property. And it's right on the northeast corner of the Corps property.
And that road would go into the park? Or is it?
It would have just a short leg that would go to the small
Oh, to the
parking
property
area.
owners out on the end of it, okay.
Yep, just
Yeah.
off the end.
All right, I got it.
Okay. But the, probably you're fully aware now, by now, that the ARC report came back with a clear right-of-way, so that was good news too. Plus, we needed that, the Corps requires that for impacts for construction on their property, so it's good we completed that.
So is there any guesstimate when that Perkins Road will be able to move forward?
Well, we have to hold, get our feasibility report completed, and that we've just been trying to clear up how we're going to wrap up the construction on the end, the west end. And then we'll meet with the city attorney and prepare the information for presentation to the property owners.
What's the chances of it happening this fall?
I think there's a chance it could get started. It might have to be finished in the spring.
Okay, and the assessment on that or the money on that, we don't really know yet.
It's kind of dependent on the construction estimate that we're trying to get a handle on and finish here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The next one, if we're going to move forward with taking sewer up to the intersection of 16 and 66, we need to move forward with probably the next phases of the project. In your packet, you have a letter from Bolton and Mink that was dated back September of 2018. At this point, we're on probably step one, the second part of the geotechnical services, and then step two, all of step two. That's what we're looking for permission today for. Am I right, Phil? So that'd be the next two phases. We're going to keep going with this project up to 16.
This was a recommendation by the Public Works Committee to take these steps.
Okay. So we'd be looking at what, 42.9 roughly?
Well, we've already spent part of this first one, 16.8. We've
Okay.
done some of that, but it'd be all of the 26 and
26
probably
one.
about half of the other one, so.
Okay. I'll move, we move forward with it. I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Okay, I got a question. Phil, is that assessment part of the public information?
Correct.
So is the assessment going to be completed for that then, or that's part of it?
I believe that the process will be completed by the time we put the feasibility report together, have a public information meeting, and talk to people.
Do you have a time frame for that?
I think October is when, October, November, we'd be having public hearings and stuff.
Okay. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other conversation? Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Assessment policy, just to give you an update, and everybody's asking where we're at with it. Public Works is just about finished with it. I got to get the group together one more time to put a blessing on it, and then it's coming to you guys. I don't know if you want to do it at a workshop or if you want to do it at a council meeting. It's going to be quite lengthy going through. Hopefully, we can get the engineers to give us an example of a project that we're working, so everybody can see how it's going to work or be applied to something, so.
I'd advise this special meeting. There's been a lot of input by
Yep. So let me.
David and Doug.
Yep, let me get this in the next couple of days, try to get the Public Works Commission together. I asked them at the last meeting a week ago, and they all agreed that they would come in for a special meeting. I'll get those guys together, we'll get our stamp on it, and we'll get it moved on to the council.
Sounds good. So the Public Works will be part of the meeting?
Yes.
They'll come. Okay.
The next one, this weekend, I guess there was a complaint that came in on the parking on West Shore Drive, basically around the public access. We have no parking signs that go from basically Duck on the north side down to, on the south side, the end of the city, so it would be where we go into Ideal Township. And we have that, so that whole stretch, and there's no parking on the main West Shore Drive. What's happening, people are pulling off either on Sunset Boulevard or on Sunrise Island. And there was some people, as you can see on the pictures, I'm hesitant to put the pictures up because the ones I've got license plates, and I don't want to give out any public information, but you guys are looking at all of it. Some of the people were actually parking underneath the no parking signs. So, and the other thing, just to let you know, is we did, on the far south side of it, we were forced, no parking signs were stolen in the posts. And on the south side, excuse me, and on the And on the north side, we've actually had one taken there, so. Eric's got something to share.
I see a note on one of them, it says it's a fire department license plate.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that.
Is that the one under the no parking sign?
No, but this one, I'm kind of interested in. I don't know if this is in the road right away or actually on somebody's property. Maybe you can help me a little bit more with that, Ted, but I think it's probably half and half. And honestly, here, there we go. Honestly, if that were on somebody's property, it's probably not. It's probably road right away.
It's actually, if you look through there, we have a 100-foot right-of-way through this area, and I believe this is on right-of-way.
This would definitely be road right away, but Officer Willard went through the area and videotaped, obviously, everything that he saw, people parking, going the wrong way, but off the road. Again, off the pavement, but in the road right away, which is not illegal.
That particular gentleman with the trailer left it for 5 days.
You can
Okay.
talk from back there.
All right, and I understand that, and I can't go by, or my officers can't go by and know that without a complaint. But we also, if I recall correctly, we don't have an ordinance regarding how long a person can park in the road right away in the city of Cross Lake. So we've got, again, in the road right away, some a little bit up on the pavement, but for the most part, we can get emergency vehicles through.
So we talked about this last year, right?
Yeah.
What was the outcome of the conversation last year?
The outcome was that we were going to, or Ted's group was going to look at clearing the road right away a little bit more, put up no parking signs, and what we had before was no parking between signs, which got a little confusing, so Ted's group ended up putting up no parking signs.
At any time.
It was very clear, no parking.
And are those signs all there?
Except for the few that have been taken, so.
Just so the public knows, we're having a little dilemma in town with people taking stop signs and street signs and parking signs, so.
Yeah, Manhattan, we lost.
How many?
In Manhattan, we lost a total of 18 stop and street signs, along with the posts.
Just in the last couple of weeks.
The post, too?
Yeah, they pulled the posts
That's
out,
odd.
because we put the bolts that you can't take out,
Okay.
so they couldn't get them out, so they just hooked onto it with their vehicles and yanked the posts and everything out.
An electric fence or?
So Lori Prem had sent this in. Is there anybody that wants to come up and speak to this? These are familiar faces.
My name is Marcia Prescott. I live, can you hear?
Yep.
My name is Marcia Prescott. I live at 34336 West Shore Drive. I'm directly next to the public access. You were looking at pictures of my house when he was just showing. The main concern I have, there is so much congestion on West Shore Drive that the huge vehicles, trailers, boats are parked basically waiting to turn into the access to launch their boat or pick up their boat. So the entrance to the access is on a hill on a curve. You can't see, the straightaway. And if you're coming, like me, driving in, you have to go around these vehicles that are parked waiting in the road. I mean, there's people in them. They're waiting to turn into the access, of which there's only one entrance to the access. So it's a huge safety issue. I mean, I'm surprised there hasn't been an accident so far with that. So I don't know how that can be resolved. I was here 2 years ago asking for speeding signs, and they did put up 30-mile-an-hour speed signs on West Shore Drive, which I'm not sure if that helps or not. People still speed. But it's really a concern with these huge vehicles and trailers that are basically sitting on West Shore Drive, waiting to turn into the public access. And this
Thanks.
is intermittent all weekend. You know, it was huge this past weekend, as you can imagine, but it's every weekend, because the parking lot fills up, and then people are, you know, overflowing everywhere else, waiting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, for one, I'm glad the weekend's over.
Name and address, please.
Oh, my name's Tim Prim. I live at 2456 Sunrise Boulevard. It's close enough. I lived there for 55 years. Marcia's 50 years,
Right.
2 doors from me. Now, I don't have the same issues that Marcia has. I'm a little insulated from the access, but she's right next to the access. I challenge anybody to go sit in Marcia's deck for 2 hours, council members, sheriff, or police chief, and observe what goes on there on a Saturday, on any given Saturday or Sunday, all day long and into the evening, and even after dark. I challenge anybody to go live what she lives through every single day in the summer. I have always said that over the years, to control the access, you have to control the parking. You just can't allow a parking free-for-all over there. When the parking lot's full, they have to go somewhere else. They don't do, I lived by Fish Lake Park in Weaver and Maple Grove. They had 65 car boat slots. And when that parking lot was full, we all voted on it because we lived on the lake. That was it. They didn't allow any other parking. The access was closed. You can't have people parking in yards on the sprinkler heads. That one picture showed him parking. I had a flag there because I have a broken sprinkler head there. He parked right on the flag. You know, they're wrong way, too close to stop signs. I don't know a lot of rules about parking rules, but I know you got to be 30 feet from a stop sign. The one gentleman, he had just left before Officer Bobby came. He was the guy that had the party barge from North Dakota State University, and the trailer was about 80 feet long. And he parked less than 10 feet from the stop sign, going the wrong way. One left the trailer in the ditch with no car for 5 days. Another guy in the parking access left his car and trailer there all weekend, taking up, he had such a huge boat with a truck, took up 5 car slots for everybody else for the whole weekend. He parked there overnight, all weekend. That's the other thing. There shouldn't be allowed overnight parking there. Okay. If they don't park in the designated parking lot, they have to go somewhere else. The word will get out fast that Cross Lake is not allowing legal parking and giving tickets. Now, Officer Marks gave a ticket yesterday, because after Marcia called, finally. Now, I would like to know for the next meeting, I have more pictures. I have like 30 more pictures, better pictures out of a regular camera that has to be developed, that can't be done in this short a time, so I took them this weekend. I would like to know how many parking tickets are given out, if any. This has been going on all summer, and we agreed last year that the parking rules would be enforced, and they haven't been. You know, the police drive by, I know they see the violations, but they don't give, as far as I know, they don't give out any tickets. Eric could, you know, talk about that. You know, what I would like to know, I'd be curious to know how many tickets or parking tickets are given out for illegal parking. Because it goes on all summer. It's not just last weekend. You know, and it's been going on for 25 years. You guys are the first people that have even, my parents, we're second generation fighters of this issue. My parents fought for this, her parents fought for this. My neighbors have fought for this and never got any action on this.
So Tim, I got to interrupt you. The right-of-way appears to be where 90% of the cars are parked is in the public right-of-way. So really, technically, it's legal for them to park there.
Well,
unless we post it and enforce it.
Yes, on the off streets, you know, like Sunrise Island Road, yes. And they were double parked there on Saturday, and it was narrow. People could hardly get through.
Okay, but I mean, I've been told that it's the right-of-way there, and they can legally park there.
I know the roadbed's 30 feet. I remember that, one of the people telling me that the roadbed's 30 feet. So technically, on my street, Sunrise Boulevard, there, it's legal for them to park, as long as they're, as far as I know, as long as they're not on the asphalt, which there always are. They're always parked on the asphalt. They're never pulled far enough over. Listen, I'm not against the access. I know it's a thing that's here to stay. I'm not against the access, but I'm against the illegal parking and the parking in people's neighborhoods.
So let me just throw one thing in to start with, but is there any way that we could help control the number of cars that are allowed to use that access?
Well, you could put up no parking signs on the side streets, and I'm sure everybody on Sunrise Island would appreciate it, and everybody on my road would appreciate it. I mean, at least, you don't have to put it on the whole road. I mean, people aren't gonna walk, 5 miles with their cooler to get to their boat, So if they're not allowed to park very close to the access, then they'll go to another access, which they should. They shouldn't be allowed to park.
Well, but
every
they're all
which
the
way.
same.
Yeah.
They're all the same. So,
Well, they're not as busy as this one. This one's out of hand because of the party island. That's the other thing. You control the access. You'll control the party island a little bit. Now, we got 400 to 500 people there peeing in the lake. You talk about septic problems. I mean, this is serious. I mean, this is
that's
this
out of
goes
our
on.
jurisdiction for sure, I know
Okay,
that.
but remember we called the DNR on Saturday, okay, and they came out in force. It was great, and everybody was gone off that party island by 7 o'clock on Saturday because they were stopping everybody on the other side of the island, and they were going around the island, and I think everybody got like, hey, word travels fast, like let's get out of here, the cops are here or whatever. So. But that was great. That was the first time I've ever seen some action at the party island.
So let's let our police chief talk about enforcement and what his thoughts are about that. Can we do that, Eric?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of empathy for the people that live in those neighborhoods. I truly do. I'd hate to be one of you, but.
I agree with you. One of the things that you're going to have, okay, you can talk to that. I don't know how to say this without
Go ahead.
sounding mean.
Sound like me.
You park in the road right away and your sprinkler head is out in the road right away. I'm sorry, that's city road right away. That's not your property. If you park off the pavement or you do your best job to park off the pavement and we can get emergency vehicles through, okay, we're going to be happy with that. Parking against traffic technically is illegal. We can enforce that. We enforce that, and we start enforcing people pulling over against traffic to go get their mail in the mailbox. And boy, have I gotten complaints about that from people who have been stopped by an officer for doing it. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to stop?
Well, so did we look for a neighborhood petition?
We did one already.
To do what?
We'll put no parking signs up that are enforceable. Then you could ticket them.
If I recall correctly, the DNR, that access belongs to the DNR. We control the city streets, the access itself we do not control.
Do they control the parking lot?
As far as I know, that's their parking lot. So, you wanna, we could do what they did down on Fish Lake? Is that what it was? Close the access but who's gonna monitor it? We have 37 square miles of land or township to cover, and another 36 square miles in Mission Township. West Shore Drive is a road that we might get down a couple times a day. It's not something that we heavily patrol all the time. We've got 66 roads, or 66 miles of roads, is that correct, Shar? Not including county roads. We didn't get any complaints until Saturday afternoon about the parking. I'm sure that if an officer did drive by, I would hope that they would take action regarding it. We have in the past. I have in the past. Where does the city want me to go with this?
I don't know. How do you guys feel about this?
I think there's some confusion on no parking means what. And kind of what I'm hearing is they shouldn't be parking on the road or in the right-of-way in that area.
But we'd have to.
They park in the right-of-way and then they think they're okay.
But they are, unless it's posted.
Unless it's posted.
That's what I'm saying.
So we'd have to post it, no
We need to
parking.
say you don't park in the right-of-way here, there.
And then if we did that, we're creating a law, a rule, so then you guys would have to enforce that if they park there.
You're putting up no parking signs that we would enforce. Yeah, you're not creating any new rule. You're just saying that people can't park there. Now, that means when they have parties over at their house, that everyone better be parked in their yard and not out on the road, because they're gonna get a citation for no parking.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know, it's a two-edged sword.
And I'm not in favor of petitions. Petitions come up and bite the citizen that hands it in. So I'm not in favor of them at all.
No, it's just the mayhem that goes on in this town, certain times of the year.
It's a couple days a year, and where I sympathize with them and having to listen to all that stuff, and I'm a boater, I don't like to go down in the South Bay. It's not a place I like to bring my kids or anything, but I have no control over that area. If you want to buy me a boat, I could.
Use chips.
But,
You got a shortage
no,
of
I'm
it?
not using chips.
Who controls the parking in the parking lot?
Well, it's
DNR. They allow overnight parking, or they don't know what they allow?
I don't think we have anything saying
So
that they
there's
can't.
nothing we can do there.
I doubt they even have any regulations of any kind posted. And in order to enforce it, you have to post it.
But I don't know if overnight parking in the parking lot is an issue, it's on the roads.
Right.
Now,
I don't know how many spots are in that parking lot.
Well, there's quite a few, it's a pretty good-sized lot.
Okay,
if they park right.
if they
Yeah.
park right.
I don't know, this keeps coming up every year. And I respect the people that live there, you know, I'm not sure.
Check with the city attorney, find out if there's a way that we can post the signs, the streets, and put up a sign that shows regulations, what's going to be enforced in there on the private streets, as they try to enter into Sunrise and get into
You
the
mean
private
on
areas.
the public streets?
Yes, on the public, correct, thank you.
Yeah, they're not private,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
no. But what will be enforced on those,
You're gonna change what the current ordinance is for the city.
well, I don't
Because we
know.
allow in the whole community right now to park in the right of way. That's allowed in the city limits of Cross Lake. As long as you do not
Obstruct.
hamper the emergency vehicles getting to a fire or ambulance or whatever. That's what the current ordinance says.
So we'd have to be very specific to that location.
That's what you did before when we did West Shore Drive. You told me to put signs in from here to here in that area. Now, if you want to take in, those two roads that were the issue this weekend,
Which is going to be the most effective, not necessarily simplest.
What's gonna be the most simplest is opening up the whole right-of-way and allowing street parking. That will open up parking areas. I mean, you got a 100-foot road right-of-way?
You'd have every
You'd
citizen
have
screaming.
everyone up there, correct, and that's
Yeah.
where,
And right
turn
from-
lanes,
yeah.
turn lanes would help the situation where, if you've got 40 boats in there, which, I'm assuming there's that many parking stalls, they're gonna back up as they're all coming off after the fireworks at about 11:30 at night. And there's nowhere, do they drive up and down the road until a spot opens up and just keep going back and forth? You can't regulate that. You can open up lanes of traffic to get into the access. A right lane, turn lane, left turn lane. I don't know how you do that. With that, you also, get the passing on the right. When people are sitting there waiting, there's nowhere to pass on the right except go through the ditch.
So, Chief, let me turn this back on the citizens there and say, what do you think the remedy is?
Well, I'm okay with putting no parking signs on one side of the road and leave the other side. The side on Sunrise Boulevard, we own the property between West Shore Drive and Sunrise Boulevard. The homeowners on Sunrise Boulevard own that chunk of land between, there's 15 or 16 homeowners along there that own that chunk of land. I'm okay, put no parking signs on the residential side and leave the other side and let them park over there. I'm okay with that. I know Sunrise Island, that's narrow, and when Bobby was there, he even told me, he said, it's pretty narrow getting through there. I don't think you'd be able to get emergency vehicles through there. I'm, in a hurry. They were parked on both sides of the road on Sunrise Island Road, whatever the name of that road is. And enforce the no parking. I mean, they're parking right under the signs in the ditch between, I got a picture of one guy who parked on the bike path, with one tire on the bike path and the rest of his car in the grass, between the parking lot and the bike path. I mean, it's actually comical, but it was dangerous, but.
Ted, do we try to get Public Works to look into this a little bit or something? What do you do with it?
I just need direction from the council. You tell me to purchase more signs, and we will, as soon as we
Pound
get them
them
on
in.
hand, we'll get them installed.
The other problem is, okay, so if you can control the parking, you're gonna control the flow you got one guy, the DNR guy down there, he's got 4 or 5 boats coming in and 2 or 3 coming out, and he's gotta inspect those boats. He's a 70-year-old guy that's been there this weekend. One guy, he had a backup there, and they were backed up onto West Shore Drive trying to get in there to get their boat, and then you got the other guys coming out. I mean, it's a bottleneck. And people speed on West Shore Drive. It's a known fact. Okay, that's why the officers are there patrolling all the time, setting up speed traps, because they know we speed down there. I try not to, but anyway. So the problem is you got a bottleneck there on a curve. It's just a matter of time before something happens there. I've seen close calls, many of them, over the long period of time. And
Okay, do you guys want to do anything? What do you want to do?
I think the comment of parking on one side is
Valid?
is valid, and no parking on the road or right-of-way on the other.
So
But
no-
to give
enforce,
recommendations.
I know you
Right.
can't be Mr. Nice Guy here. I mean,
Right. I know.
there is no nice way to enforce parking rules. People are gonna get peeved, and you guys are running for re-election, they may not vote for you.
Let them go.
The chief is appointed, so he's okay. But, I mean, you make somebody mad, but you know what? If it saves somebody's life somewhere down the line here, that, it would be worth it.
Well, you're right. We got to enforce the laws we have. There's
Yeah.
no question about it, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I ask. That's
I don't
all
know,
I've
Dave,
ever
what do you-
asked for.
What side of the road do you recommend no parking or
Well, on
parking?
the
How-
Sunrise Boulevard, there's a side of residential, and then the other side is all woods, because we own that property. So put the no parking on the residential side, and leave they can park on the other side. I'm okay with that.
All right.
You know.
You got something to look at.
But on
'cause-
Sunrise Boulevard, or on Sunrise Island Road, there are people on both sides of the road there. There are more people on the right side of the road than there are on the left side of the road as you approach the island.
This is yours right here, this second or third one right
Yeah,
here?
I'm the second one.
Second one right there.
Yeah.
So he's talking no parking on the inner part, on their side, on the lake side of the road,
Yes.
on no
Right.
parking.
Yes,
So then you allow people to park on the
yes,
inner part.
yes.
Okay, let's do one of
And
these
then
at
on
a time. Is
Sunrise
that,
Boulevard, or Island
okay, we
Road,
taking notes?
there's houses on both sides, and it's narrow in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the whole council is okay with your recommendation on no parking on the
At least-
residential side for the whole road.
At least start it and let's see where it's going.
So do you have to do a sign every 100 feet or something, or what do you do with them?
Before I was instructed every 50 feet by the council.
All right.
Okay.
They can't miss it that way.
Now, how about on West Shore Drive?
Well, on West Shore Drive, it's posted, no parking on either side of the road, and that should be enforced. I mean, they're parking in the ditch between the bike path and the road, under the no parking signs, in the weeds. And that's the other thing, when I was in college, there was a fire started by a catalytic converter who pulled into the weeds and started a whole parking lot on fire. I mean, I'm wondering, those ditches aren't mowed, people are pulling in there with their hot cars, catalytic converters, there could be a fire there someday, on their car, catalytic converters, it's another issue.
Okay, so let's say we're going to post the Sunrise Boulevard, Sunrise Island Road on the lakeside, residential side to start with?
And then Sunrise Island, no parking all the way.
All the way to the
I think West Shore Drive, you get to park on one side only. and that's to handle all of the people that are waiting in line. If you got cars on the
Is
right,
that allowed
cars
now?
on the left,
One
and then
side
you got
or
somebody
none?
waiting on the road with a trailer, you
sides.
have no place to go.
Okay.
Because otherwise, as soon as you allowed them, they were parking to the, and you couldn't see visibility around the, pulling in and out of the driveway.
Can we tell you to use your judgment, go up there and put some signs up so it clears it open a little bit? You
Well, remember, he has to enforce,
want me to take a drive with you?
well, remember, just a second, he has to enforce what you guys are telling us to do. So it takes council action to put these no parking signs. I just can't willy-nilly go put them up.
I would say right now, post Sunrise Island Road, there's no reason that anyone should park along there.
Okay, done.
It's narrow,
Done.
and you got houses on both sides, it's a hill, it's an issue. Along here, although there is some nice road right away to, ditch area to park in, it is maintained, a lot of the stuff is maintained by the homeowners along that area. I understand where they're coming from. If we cleared a little bit more of the road right away on this side, or I'm sorry, where am I looking? On this side. If we cleared a little bit more of the road right away on this side, that could allow more cars to park off the road,
To get it completely off.
to get them completely off.
So is that the brush hog going in
And
there
no
and mowing
parking
it?
along here.
But that's their private property.
Well, it is, but.
Well, there's still road right away there.
Okay, there is enough there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would assume.
Yeah, there's part of it that's not brushed out.
okay.
Okay, when can you have that done by, Ted?
No parking signs at any time. I ordered 12 of them 5 weeks ago. They're not here yet. If we can get this done by the end of the summer, I would be happy. Be just,
Labor Day.
I'm hopeful. But it's, just getting signs from the two sign shops in the state of Minnesota right now are tough.
Can we do temporary signs for a while?
What do you consider temporary?
I don't know, on lat stakes?
Police order.
Yeah.
Signs, I
They'll
don't
be
know.
gone.
We could do something on a piece of plywood with something we
Tim will
print off
put
the
a bunch of
computer.
cameras up there and catch the people taking them, huh? That'll be your job.
I won't write citations on that, being that I can't prove exactly where things were and how things were and if it was Photoshop. So I will just make sure that the officers go through there a little bit more, make sure that they are writing citations where citations are deserved. I think there is some confusion maybe with an officer or two that if they're on the other side of the no parking signs, that's the only I can figure is why they didn't write that citation. If they're, in that area and parked, they need a citation.
Yeah, I think if you enforce the rules, it'll slow it
And also
down.
be mailed with pictures, because we won't leave them on the cars because they get wrecked or whatever might happen, so.
Okay.
we can mail those citations.
Somebody else walks down the street and picks them all
Yeah.
up.
So do we need to make a motion on that?
Yes, also move.
Okay, Aaron's going to make a motion, and the motion is going to be that we post no parking signs on the residential side of, both sides of Sunrise Island Road and Sunrise Boulevard, is that the other one? On the lake side or residential side of that road.
And clear cut
And, yeah, clear cut on the inland side of it, or the,
the right of way.
Clean the right of way up.
yeah. Okay, so we got a motion by Aaron, who's got a second?
I'll second that. I have one question. Can you get a sign, is it allowable to get a bigger sign that you can post right at the launch area that says no parking, rather than the stops or the no parking signs? Something that describes.
There's not a lot of room for signage.
There isn't.
Parking enforcement strictly something?
Something.
Yeah.
They have that as a pretty standard.
That you can get
sign.
quicker?
No, it's gonna be the same.
No, all right.
The sign shops are just backed up. Steel, to get steel because of the embargoes is tough right now.
Okay, so we got a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Marcia, what does that do for you?
Well,
Nothing.
Nothing.
yeah, it really doesn't do it. I mean, I had someone parking in my yard yesterday, and they did issue him a ticket. So parked right under no parking sign.
Like last year, when there were boats coming off and again, Tim, when you left a message, you left it at the office.
Yeah, and
And
you know,
that
listen,
doesn't get
I
back
want to
to us.
apologize. I was a little excited, and I want to apologize to you a little bit. You know, like I said, I've been fighting this for a long time. My parents fought it, and this is the first time we've ever gotten any action. And I appreciate it, you guys, all of you. But
I wish we could help you, Marcia, but maybe you should wait till it quiets down real good and put a for sale sign on your place. And go to a quieter
Well,
place in
Dave, the
town.
one you did, I offered it to her, but she won't, the one you remodeled for me on Ossawa McKee, she won't. Anyway.
All right.
What I suggest, when you do call the office, there is a number to get hold of the sheriff's office. We're not in the office, we don't.
And you know, I was gonna do that, and you guys are very clear on the message about who to call, but I just felt like, you know, I don't usually, I've never called. Marcia has been doing the calling. But I just felt the sheriff's department on that day is overwhelmed. They don't need some homeowner complaining about parking, you know? So I wanted to leave a message, you know, so
Clear,
you would get it.
clear message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about being excited about it, I apologize.
It's okay. You
We
weren't
all
bad.
get- We all get excited.
You weren't the worst by any means.
All right, let's get into the golf carts now.
One more little thing.
All right.
Just so the council's aware, one of our young people in town with his fireworks tried to burn up the Drain Island Bridge. There's a little char on the bridge. Fire department, one of the neighbors saw it, got it out. But please be careful with the fireworks. That's my message.
$800,000 fine.
Okay, Eric, are you gonna take the golf carts?
Oh, I can.
Come on, it's your department.
Well, I guess I haven't heard the complaint yet from people. I wasn't here on Friday when they came in or called, so I haven't heard the complaint regarding the golf cart. So I'd like to hear that first so I can address
Well,
it.
I think they're here, but I think the complaint is they just wanna use them. They wanna be able to use them.
It's a good
Is there
spot.
anybody here about that? You guys are here?
Yeah.
I can tell you what spurred the actions on Wednesday. And actions, I guess you can call it actions, but not really. I got a call from Ted regarding golf carts. There was one southbound on County Road 66 from Manhattan Point Boulevard. And there's no shoulder of the road there. And what shoulder there is very small. Traffic was backed up. Going behind it was causing a dangerous situation. In the meantime, I had gotten another call regarding golf carts in Sandcrest, East Shore Road area. And so I went over there myself. Within one pass, or two passes, I came across 4 golf carts. 2 of them driven by kids, 1 by a mother and son. And then there was another couple that I stopped also, coming back from the boat access. I simply told them, golf carts aren't allowed on city streets.
How old were
And
the
that-
kids?
They were kids, under
I
18.
mean, 8, 10?
Oh, they were probably 15 to anywhere between 14 and 17, I'd say, probably somewhere around there. So after that, I left and I thought, all right, good way to get this out. I put it on our Cross Lakes Police Department's Facebook page saying, just a friendly reminder, you know, golf carts aren't allowed, ATVs are. And from that, one of the first comments, I think, was, check out East Shore Drive, they're all over the place. Okay, so, obviously, it's an issue. In May, or in April, I think, we repealed the ordinance regarding golf cart permitting in the city of Cross Lake. The council said, we don't want golf carts running on our city roads. We have a tough time keeping the pedestrians safe. And we've added ATVs, and we've got bicycles, pedestrians, and crosswalks. We've got slow-moving vehicles, we've got fast-moving vehicles, we've got semis, and we've got ATVs. I mean, so we've got it all. and I don't know necessarily that we can handle another size or another vehicle on the road. We've always been very lenient with them. We've never cited anyone. I don't think we've arrested anyone for DWI, although I know in the past it has been warranted when they've been driving their golf carts drunk. I'm going with what, Dave, your words, enforce the laws that are out there.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. And the biggest reason for that is the public safety.
Right.
You know, and people, and I was guilty of this when I had my 3 little kids. I'd let my 6-year-old kids jump on that 6-wheeler and go rip it across the road and over to the shop. And people do that. 20 years ago when I did it, it was stupid. It's more stupid now, you know, and people do that all the time. So I don't disagree with you. These people want to be able to run their carts around. I don't think it's going to happen, you know, because the public safety.
I just wanted to add that earlier that same day, I had 2 12, 15-year-olds on a golf cart on East Shore. Back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, well, they're kids.
Had to stop.
Yeah.
And then the other one proceeds to grab his elbow and yank him so he goes out into the road even farther. And then when I seen the one on coming down from Manhattan and going down the road, then it's like, called Eric, because I had concerns for public safety.
So these guys came in here tonight, and they've been patiently sitting. Come on up and give us your spiel. Tell us who you are and where you're at.
Well, my name's Dave Shepherd, and I live on East Shore, and for the last 4 years, I've been using my golf cart up here to go back and forth to our swimming beach and to our boat landings and back and forth to each other's house, because our parking conditions down at the swimming beach, I know you're aware of where it is, right on the curve on East Shore. We have 2 parking spots there, and you can fit 10 golf carts in there to use our swimming beach, but otherwise, we're gonna create the same parking problems that you're talking about at this last place. People go down there and you're on both sides of the road, and it's a terrible corner anyhow. And we get twice the parking out of our boat ramp by using them too, because those who have their boats in the water already come down on their carts, and that leaves all the truck and trailer spaces open, so there's not out in the ditch either. So I don't know what we can do if there's a common ground. I don't have any little kids driving mine. I'm 60 years old. The thing goes 10 miles an hour, and it's quiet, not like all those 4x4s. But
Yeah, no, I get it.
I got a proposal.
Your name?
I'm Leroy Schmont. I'm in 34484 on Park Drive there, and I've been there for 20 years. And I've noticed over the years that as we're getting older, there's been more and more golf carts appearing out there. And yeah, I have had, my 10-year-old grandson was up there, but I was riding with him this weekend, you know, making sure we're okay. We're an association. We're kind of in our own little group. Yeah, it's city streets out there, but we're kind of in a we're out there in our secluded area. And I'd like to make a proposal that you would allow us to drive on them city streets, but we do have a board. We're an association, we have a board, and we take care of the property pretty good out there. The board does a pretty good job. And I'd request maybe that under your guidance and maybe some stuff from the police department, give us some help, some information. And I know these guys are busy. I've got a son-in-law that works for the sheriff department, and they don't want to get calls for golf carts. They don't want to get calls for fireworks. They're busy enough doing. There's lots.
They really don't want to get the calls of an 8-year-old kid getting hurt on a golf cart.
And I think it has, I've seen over the 20 years there, it has gotten out of hand where I think people but I think we could, as an association, we could turn it over to our board and regulate this. We could come up with some proposal and let all us, there's 80 association members out there, and there's probably 20 or 30 that have golf carts. There's probably, and there's, I don't know, more that has 4-wheelers and stuff out there. But you guys don't want to mess with this. You guys have no time. The police, the sheriffs, they don't have time. But I'm asking maybe as a proposal is let us as an association police ourselves out there. We could draw up some rules and guidelines, pass it out to the board, or pass it out to the rest of the members, and let us kind of take care of our own area out there. If they're, just recently now, we came up with stickers because we've had some people come out there and using our boat landing. I suppose they probably parked that other boat landing full, so they've been using ours. And we've come up with stickers, so we're policing our own boat landing now and what's going on there. And, you know, we do a pretty good job of that. And I think if, you know, if we'd be allowed, we do go down to the boat landing a lot. We go down to the beach a lot. We're all getting older, and some can't walk as far, so the golf carts are easy to jump on, easier than a four-wheeler and stuff.
No, I get it.
So my proposal would be is, you know, let us drive on the streets. We're in our own little area there. Let us propose ourselves. Maybe we'd have to register it with our association, put a number on the cart. If there is a violation or something, you know.
Don't you think if we do that, though, we're going to have to do that citywide? I mean, how could we pick out that little segment of East Shore Boulevard and say this is good to go?
So are you gonna just?
Is anybody else here?
Well, they will be soon as they hear about it, trust me.
You think this is the first time this has come up?
I mean, but I mean, yeah, on city streets, if you're going back and forth, but we're in an area.
But you got to cross the city street, though, to do it, to get to where you want to go. You got to cross the road.
Yeah, we got to use the city street.
And you got to come down the city street to get to it, to cross the busy road.
Do you think your board can manage this for you? Really?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, we actually,
I'm familiar with a board in a different area, and the board cannot police the park that I'm in. They can't do it, and they won't do it. And they tell everybody to self-police. And guess what? It takes a lot of courage to self-police. A lot of time, and it doesn't happen.
Well, I think when you're under the gun, you're either, there's 30 of us that are gonna have to get rid of golf carts if we can't drive them out there, which I had no idea that you couldn't drive them out there.
Right.
We're under the gun, so we're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to, I mean, we're all gonna buy gators probably, and we're gonna be running gators out there with license, and them are more problem, I think, than what 10-mile-an-hour golf carts are.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have to look at changing the population that's moving up here. You're seeing more and more golf carts all over the place. It's not just Cross Lake, they're all over. I think they're gonna have to look at, you know, the changes that are happening.
well, we talked about that today, making sure you're a licensed driver to operate one. That'd be one thing we talked about.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Insurance, you know, but
Yeah,
then
insurance.
you gotta, you know, you gotta police it. You gotta stop, you gotta check licenses, you
And
gotta,
I'm up there full-time now. I retired up there. Pat's up there full-time. I mean, there's people around there all the time.
Eric, can you
If-
deputize these guys? Is that in the bylaws?
I don't know, we're just at, you know, if.
We get it, you guys are not alone. There's a lot of people that'd like to open it up and do it, but it's a can of worms.
We're not talking about going down County Road 3 at all, or the main roads, just kind of back where we are, you know, a couple of blocks here, a couple of blocks back and forth, and yeah, they're quieter, they don't pollute the air, I mean, they're electric, so.
Doesn't Crosswoods cross that road every 18 holes? Or, I mean, every time?
Yeah, they do that.
Without a permit, or?
There's a difference between crossing a road and driving down one.
Not the same, they're not traveling down the road.
Well, I know
Yeah.
Breezy Point has some sort of ordinance where they're legal in Breezy Point.
We can keep the kids.
Breezy Point, excuse me.
Yep.
Breezy Point's a golf community. It's 12 square miles compared to 37, and a lot less road. They have 3 county roads, 39, 4, 11. I guess you could, now you really can't count Fawn Lake Road. They have 3 golf courses. We have 1. So golf carts in the city of Breezy Point made a little more sense to their council than I think it would to ours. As far as policing your own, you know, then, you know, I just don't see that happening. The ordinance allows, or the state statute allows the city government rule to have an ordinance allowing golf carts to operate under permit. Now, that means somebody has got to administer those permits. Somebody's got to make sure that the people are licensed. Somebody's got to make sure that their insurance is in good standing. Someone's got to make sure that, you know, the placards are there. I don't understand where the concept came from that we can ride golf carts. Every other vehicle that's on a road is registered. Every other one. Every other motorized vehicle.
Well,
except maybe a scooter.
We could probably require them to do that, but it's just
But you don't
manpower.
have turn
you know.
signals on golf carts, you don't have a lot of the
Headlights. I mean,
headlights, turn
you can do hours
signals.
of
You might have
operation.
headlights,
It
but you don't.
just, once we let Sandcrest do it, Old Log Landing's gonna be in, Wilderness Park's gonna be in, Golden Rule, you know, it won't stop. Golf carts are for golfing.
But our association has tried to place some of these different things, not this, not golf carts, but it does not work. And we're a 79 lot unit complex, and it doesn't work because homeowners change. And as soon as they change, the rules change.
I've spoken my piece, but. yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think it's going to happen tonight, guys.
Thanks for trying.
Well, you know, you look at the wheelers, and it seems like they're way safer than a wheeler that can go 40 miles an hour, and they go 10. Create less noise, less pollution, all of that.
So would the city would they be interested in permitting golf carts in all of the associations then?
We don't have the staff to administer it or manage it.
Yeah.
We just don't have the people. I mean, it takes a lot to manage a lot of those things, and we just don't have the staff. And we try to hold on the costs and the taxes to the citizens, and
But we see it, you know, on Daga Pine Road, the community center road. I drive up and down that quite often, and I'll see 4 little kids in the middle of a golf cart or something, right in the middle of the blacktop road, driving down the road, you know? And that's reckless parents that are letting them do that. So you guys are probably great guys, but you said there's 30 or 40 of you. Somebody's going to get killed, and then it's going to be on our neck. You know, we allowed it, and we don't want to do that. We don't think it's a safe deal, you know, and I feel for you. I understand the ability to run down and do it, but I don't want it hanging on my head. And I see it, if I never saw it happen, I wouldn't say that, but I see it all the time.
thank you.
Yep, thanks. Oh, boy. Public forum. No action will be taken on any of the issues raised. If appropriate, the issue will be placed on the agenda of a future council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. Each speaker is given 3 minutes. Come on up.
Thank you very much. I'll try to be shorter if I can. Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. I'll be speaking to section H, number 3, letter C, update on the erosion issue between 12880.
Name and address, please.
Pat Davern, 12886 Manhattan Point Boulevard. Thank you. And I'm speaking on the right-of-way issue. First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking this issue. I remember last time I submitted a packet of information to you with the information. I've talked with Mr. Strand. He investigated. He's going to make some corrections from what I understand. I would very quickly just like to reiterate my question, and I know that you may not be able to respond directly to this, but will I get a letter or a notice when they do this, or when they do alterations or make changes? And I just want to make sure to have anything that's close, like a trailer or anything that might be, that I need to move out of there, that would be close to that area.
Ted?
So.
You got 3 minutes on your time up here, too, so.
Oh, I'm on 2?
No, but it just sounds like this could get lengthy, so I'm just telling you.
I have his cell number.
Okay.
And I will call and let him know when we get up there to start working on it.
Okay, you've agreed to that, good.
And the other thing is most of this work is gonna be done by hand. We're not gonna bring equipment in. We wanna do so the least impact to the ground and the forest that we can, so.
Okay, that's handled.
Thank you. Just one final request, and I'll just reiterate my request, and I'll be done, I promise. I'm still looking to have some sort of sign showing what the right-of-way is, and you can put that sign on my side if you like. I understand there is a steel shortage from what I understand, so I'd just like to reiterate that request for signage showing where the right-of-way is, so people walk on the right side of the right-of-way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does that mean we have to survey?
Yes.
Yeah, you would.
Hi, Cindy.
Good evening. Cindy with the Chamber of Commerce, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for funding the fireworks. We had RES do the show again on Saturday night. It was fabulous. We're going to hang on to them for the next few years. Hopefully, next year, Saturday is July the 4th. So we're hoping to contract with them for that night. I want to say thank you to Eric and your police department, the sheriff's department, everybody who has worked so hard the last 10 days. The business community is just exhausted. There's been a lot of people in town, and it's been fun. It's a long, long winter up here. So when we have small problems, and I say small because we're talking about boat trailers and golf carts, which are recreational vehicles, you know, the problems are minor compared to all the people that we had here vacationing and enjoying our town. So thank you. And Joel Knipple, thank you for putting the barges together that hold the fireworks, and CNC Boatworks, who really did a nice job getting it all organized and went off without a hitch. So thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. Anybody else? City attorney report, nothing there, Mike?
No.
Old business? New business? I need that motion.
I so move.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks, folks, for coming.